Oh, hello, my fellow zombies. What's going on, guys? Emotionally deprived and sleep deprived and everything else. In a couple of short hours, we're going to be celebrating Star Trek Day. The original publishing date when the original Star Trek series came out on NBC, September 8th, 1966, and started the insanity that we call Trekkie, or Trekism, or however you want to call it. But it is a ongoing thing that all of us sci-fi fanatics have grown up throughout the years, from birth to whatever we currently are right now, that we are still celebrating and we are still commiserating and commemorating. While the old guard passes on, batons have already been handed off to new generations to continue. And there have been a lot of struggle, strife, and flat out confusion with everything. But in the end, we're still celebrating what Star Trek means to us, to each one of us. All of us who have grown on the same year and beyond, all of us who have actually seen the actual date when the show came out originally. I am of the generation that saw the first reruns at a young age. But I was born in the same year as Star Trek came out in publication on the air with the media. So I am as old as Star Trek, I think. It was conceived longer than that in the mind of a genius who didn't think of him as a genius, but he did. He is, and always will be, in our hearts and our minds and our souls. Gene Roddenberry, Sr. And how I feel about being a Trekkie all these years. Were there any special stories concerning about how I was watching this show? My mother wanted me to entertain on the television. She turned on channels, and Star Trek came on. It kind of got her attention and got my big brother's attention. He liked the show too, but he didn't catch on to it seriously as his younger brother did. And he thought it was mildly amusing, but it was never turning him into a fanatic like it was me. I had devoured every 79 episodes. Each and every time it kept on a rerun again, I'd watch it over and over and over again. Books and comic books, whenever I can get them at a young age, and relive the adventures, and lived new adventures when writers were writing out their stories and put them in anthologies and large and other publications. I would get my hands on them when I could and read those books as well. I had collected, I had amassed, and throughout my youth to an adulthood, I thought I was collecting a pretty good substantial library of them, but there was so much more to it. More to it. We're not talking about just the physical pins, we're not talking about the toys themselves, but we're talking about the creativity, we're talking about the universe itself. We're talking about knowledge of someone's imagination that was exploded and then became our own Big Bang Theory of sorts. And conventions where people would gather in their local communities and trade stories and trade merchandise and listen to the actors and actresses and those who have been in the production, from the writers to the producers to the actors to the people on set, the production areas, anything and everything related to it. Yes, I feasted and I feasted and I feasted. But I've also soured in my stomach of it because sometimes some fans would go beyond unlisted and unwarranted areas. They say boldly go where no one's gone before, yes, but when you go to other lengths where fans dare not cross, yes, I have seen the lighter side, but I've seen the darker side of it too. To the point where I got burned out. You hear the same stories, you see the same merchandise, you see the same stories out there. You hear, and it became something of a same old, same old. The universe of it was still expanding, but the boredom was still there because the question always popped in: is there nothing more? Dr. McCoy's explanation in the movie of Star Trek the Motion Picture. A question to the humanity and to the fans. What more is there than the Star Trek universe, Spock? Other dimensions, higher dimensional beings, the existence of which cannot be proven logically. Therefore, V'ger is incapable of believing in them. Well, who was V'ger? Well, V'ger was us fans. Expanded the universe and ate and feasted and saw the sameness of it. Despite the combinations of what we could think of or try to put out there, the question of V'ger was still there. Is there nothing more? For some of us, we fell off the earth. We fell off the dimensional plane and hid in our own little realities, trying to deal with quote unquote reality that we're still facing these days. And now, we're struggling with our own identities. We're struggling with our own quagmires. We're struggling with our own political stuff. And we keep forgetting that there were certain aspects that were shown to us back in the 60s. Some people saw them as antiques, but they were trying to show us what we already knew, and we failed to learn. We saw it so much that we glanced over it, iced over it, just bypassed it entirely. The stuff that was struggling to be shown existence was still happening to this day. The social quagmires that we all are trapped in are still showing us today. In the original 79 episodes, expanded to different shows and different ideas, but the things are still there, the elements are still there. Star Trek is a way of life, and it may have been an enjoyable thing for fans to indulge upon and to show upon other fans that they are indeed part of the world of Star Trek one way or another. We also had to realize that it encompasses everybody else. So on this day of September 8th of 2022, Stardate, we will have to dig deep into our resources and our understanding of what this day truly means to us. All the concepts we have learned and still relearning all the time. All the people that we have lost and loved, and all the people that we still have left living. And the ones who have got the torches given to them by the previous generations to carry on the journeys. To carry us fans forward as we continue our own interpretations of what Star Trek means to us and what Star Trek Day means to us. But it's still the concept. The human venture is still revealing itself. What more is there? We have yet to explore. And for that one, the fellow Trekkies of today and of tomorrow, I wish you live long and prosper. This is John Cameron Weaver of Roseman Base, signing off.